The ministerial list, a ministerial screening taking place in the Senate chamber. The first nominee has now been screened. We're yet to get feedback whether or not he has been confirmed. He is Uchechukwu Oga from Abia State. His name,
distinguished colleagues, before the next
generated quite
nominee
some
enters,
reactions initially as to whether it was Ukechukwu or Uchechukwu.
that we should concentrate on
The Senate President said the list he received contained Ukechukwu, and the nominee, however, says his name is Uchechukwu. Just to let you know that the Senate has about 6 names penned down for the first session of the screening. We understand that it's been broken down into 2 segments. The first segment will run from when it started, 25 minutes past 11 till 1 p.m. Then the Senate will take a break for an hour and return at 2 p.m. with the next set. We have about 6 names on the list.
I think it's someone who's coming next. Black. The next person is distinguished Senator George Akume from Benue.
Senator George Akume is the next to step in. He is, for those who don't know, a former senator in the past assembly. And he has now been listed as a nominee by the president. Now, as it's traditional with the Senate in the past, they would normally ask one of theirs to take a bow and go. So we're looking to see whether or not that tradition will be repeated here, or if the Senate will go into deep grilling of Senator George Akume. Just to also let you know that the other names on the list for the first segment are Mustafa Shehuri, who will most likely come up after Senator George Akume. Mustafa Shehuri is a returning minister. He is from Borno State. The next on the list is Bunaya Onu, who is also a returning minister. Then there's Bashir Magashi and Rotimi Amechi. These are the people whom the Senate President say their CVs have been distributed to the senators on the floor, and they will be attended to first, and after that they'll take a break at 1 p.m. to return at 2 for the next segment. You're watching the live broadcast of the ministerial screening taking place in the Senate, live on Channels Television. Let's take you through some of the things that came up when the nominee Uchechukwu Oga was on the podium. Because no portfolios were sent as to where these nominees will be directed to, the questions to him were centered on
distinguished colleagues,
petroleum and finance.
Distinguished Senator George Akume, a senator in this chamber, a minority leader, and of course former governor of Benue State. Senator Akume, you are welcome. We have received copies of your CV, but you are at liberty to emphasize on some of these things in your CV, or those things that are not in, but are so relevant, germane, and important that the Senate needs to know, and you wish to share with the Senate. You are welcome once again, and you can make your remarks.
Mr. President, worthy and distinguished colleagues, distinguished senators, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I want to thank you so very much, my distinguished colleagues, for giving me this opportunity to stand before you. I say this with all sense of humility and responsibility. In the past, I used to sit amongst you to screen nominees. Today, I have this to appear before you bow before my colleagues in tandem with the tradition and values of these hallowed chambers. Mr. President, from my CV you could see that my journey in life started in 1953. And I'm where I am because society has also been very supportive of me. God has always been on my side. I love the Senate. I respect the Senate. This Senate represents not only the fulcrum of our democratic institutions. This Senate has done things in the past that we are very, very proud of. At a critical time when there was a near constitutional crisis, this Senate came out with a doctrine of necessity. And that served the situation. I don't think there is anything that this Senate cannot do to support and to sustain the territorial integrity of our country. I'm very proud of you, and I will continue to be proud of this Senate. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Emmanuel Okejef.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okejef. I represent the good people of Benue Northwest. Mr. Chairman, distinguished Senator Akume is before you. As the CV indicates, he has spent 40 years in the public service. Nearly 20 years in the civil service and 20 years plus in politics. Mr.
Allow him now.
Sorry, which order, please? The Senate does not know conventional point of order. Senator Emmanuel Okejef.
So, like you mentioned, 8 years as governor and 12 years on the floor of this Senate, rising to be the minority leader. My colleagues and I, the Benue Caucus, have met and mandated me to request, in tandem with the tradition of this Senate, to ask the distinguished Senator Akume to take a bow and go. Thank
you. Distinguished colleagues, we have all heard what Senator Emmanuel Okejef said. But I want to ask the leave of Benue Caucus to please allow 2 more senators to ask questions, or if they have comments to make, they will do so. And then I will round up. And let me also remind us, it's our tradition here to give this privilege, this concession to senators, people who served in this chamber or in the House of Representatives, or indeed in the State House of Assembly. This tradition will continue despite the fact that some people don't understand it, which we need to continue to educate them. But I still believe that Senator Danjuma Goje may like to ask a question, Senator Ope, me, and then finally Senator Kabirga, and then I will round up.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Mohammed Danjuma Goje, representing Gombe Central. Mr. President, I know the nominee very well. For the last 20 years, we have been politically together. He has been very active as a 2-time governor of Benue State and 3-time member of this hallowed chamber. So I would like to join the Benue caucus by calling on this Hello Chamber to ask him to take a bow and go away. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to my leader. He was the leader of minority when I was the deputy whip of minority, and he served as a senator for 3 terms and a former governor. And I knew him when late Reverend Adasu was his governor. He was my colleague. So I will appeal to the chair and the president sitting in chair to let our brother and friend bow and go. Thank you, sir. The DSP.
Thank you, Mr. President. Obiomo Agege, Delta Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rose for only one purpose: to ensure that tradition of that convention be respected in perpetuity, so that no question here other than take a bow and go that has been propagated by a few of our colleagues is maintained. I rise to support that he should be asked to take a bow and go, given his length of service in these chambers. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, the DSP and all those who contributed by asking the nominee to take a bow and go. I know this is our tradition. It's only an opportunity also to give the nominee another age. Before the nominee takes a bow and take his leave, I would like to make a simple comment. By the grace of God, all of us who served from the 6th Senate served with Senator George Akume, the former governor of Benue State. And at one time, he was the minority leader of the minority parties, ACN, APP, ABGA, and so on. No, there was no ABGA then, maybe. I want to say this. The country benefits, the citizens benefit when the 2 arms of government, particularly the legislature and the executive, work together. A relationship based on mutual respect, consultation, and cooperation. The nominee, a gentleman to the core, we expect that when you eventually become a minister, you will lead the vanguard of those who pass through this National Assembly to create and sustain a decent, operational, and respectable relationship between the 2 arms of government. We are in haste, we are in a hurry to deliver, but it takes the 2 arms to deliver. With these remarks, I want to thank my colleagues for their contributions, even though it went in one direction, and that was not unexpected, and we wish you the best in your next endeavor. You can take a bow.
Well, there you have it. Tradition upheld in the Senate. Senator George Akume is asked to take a bow unanimously by members of the Senate. I was interested to find that the Benue caucus, was the first to move that motion, especially Senator Emmanuel Okija, who took the place of Senator George Akume in the Senate. So there you have it, tradition upheld. Senator George Akume is now the 2nd person to be screened by the Senate of the 43. So there are about 41, at least 41 more names to go on the lists. There are 4 names left on the first list, read by the President of the Senate, Mustafa Shehuri, Ogbonnaya Onu, Bashir Magashi, and Rotimi Amechi. According to the Senate President, this first list of names is based on the fact that their CVs have been distributed. And I can say that these persons are currently within the premises of National Assembly. The next up is Mustafa Shehuri, most likely from the list read by President of the Senate. Let's take you down memory lane and compare what's happening today to what happened in 2015. Now recall that in 2015, the President sent in the names of the ministers in two batches. The first contained 21 names, which was sent on the 30th of September 2015. And the second set of names were sent on Tuesday, a week after, by the President. Now, the Senate screened only 10 of those nominees on the first day. Now, with the Senate promising to ensure that it rounds off this entire screening process before it goes on its long recess, which was supposed to happen tomorrow, by the way, but has now been moved to next week, and that's according to the spokesperson of the Senate,